how he closed a $2.6 million deal while still in the Army. Sounds impossible, right? But that's exactly what James did. While serving full-time, he found, vetted, and bought a 40-year-old cabinetry business in Florida before he was even out of the military. This wasn't a turnkey SaaS company or a passive online store. It was a real boots-on-the-ground $3.6 million revenue home improvement business with 20% margins and a retiring owner who had been running it since the 80s. James didn't come from private equity or an MBA program. He came from structure, discipline, and a willingness to learn. And he walked straight into a business with no marketing system, no sales process, and massive untapped upside. In this episode, James breaks down how he sourced the deal, built trust with the seller, secured financing, and stepped into ownership as an active duty soldier. If you're a first-time buyer, this is a blueprint you don't want to miss.
We could build what's behind you. We could build a wall unit. If a box comes in damaged, we could go make it. Our typical lead is somebody that Googles kitchen cabinets, goes to our website on their phone, and then our mobile website currently doesn't capture leads. It's driving me crazy. I was born in Spain and moved when I was 3 years old to Pennsylvania. I grew up there.
Oh, hold on. Where in Spain?
Barcelona. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Right?
Are your parents Spanish?
Yeah. So my dad's dad is Norwegian and English. So I got that last name.
Okay.
Right? And then the rest of my family is Spanish.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, born in Spain. And then I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Pretty normal childhood, happy childhood. Very fortunate in a lot of ways. And then I went to college on the West Coast at Claremont McKenna College. I studied finance. Had a mixed experience there on the West Coast. There were some things about the culture that I didn't exactly vibe with. And then after that, I realized I had a lot of growing up to do. So I finished my undergraduate degree, and my next step was enlisting in the Army. So enlisted in the Army and did the whole 15 weeks of boot camp as a combat engineer, had my head shaved, and then I ended up as a paratrooper at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, living in the barracks, making $2,000 a month. And then I was fortunate, after 2 years there, I got selected to go get an MBA at Florida State University. And at Florida State University, I was going to do ROTC, and like I said, get my MBA. And after that, I owed the Army 3 years of service. So did Florida State, did ROTC. That's when I bought a house with the VA loan. I thought I was the richest guy in the world because, I had a salary and a house instead of being in the barracks. And then I rented out the roommates to friends. I rented out the rooms to friends that were in ROTC with me. And that's how real estate got started for me. And eventually I worked up the courage to buy a house and rent it out. Did a couple more of them. And I joke around, I sort of had a quarter life crisis where I realized I wanted to be a businessman instead of a G.I. Joe. And then, there was a lot of fuel dumped onto my quarter life crisis because I met my wife, who was a successful real estate agent at the time, and somehow convinced her to team up with me. And so then we had 7 houses in Tallahassee, Florida. And then we got married, then I got orders to go move to another town in Oklahoma called Lawton, southwest corner of Oklahoma. And I somehow convinced Jana to come with me. And we also conjured up a really ambitious, positive attitude, and did 3 years in Oklahoma and ended up buying another 33 housing units. We did every strategy in the world. We did BRRRRs, we did subject twos, we did fix and flip. Then I got out of the Army in May, and I still have all the real estate, and I bought this business where I sit now in August, of 2025.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
So tell us about the business. What kind of business is it?
It's called Schrappers Fine Cabinetry and Design. You can look it up at schrappers.com or at Schrappers Fine Cabinetry on Instagram. Just think of if somebody wants a new kitchen, then we come in and draw it for them, and then we agree on a concept and a price, and then we'll come in, demolish your existing kitchen, and build a new one for you. That's, in layman's terms, what we do.
Okay. And then where is it located?
Jupiter, Florida.
Okay, in Jupiter.
Yeah.
And how long has the business been around?
Since 1982, I'm the
Okay.
third owner.
Wow. Okay. And the last owner, how long has he owned it?
Since 2001.
Okay, so he had it for what, 24
Yeah.
years now. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is the, so how did you find the business?
It was listed on Biz by Sell.
Nice. So,
Yeah.
and so when you started looking at businesses, what industries have you started looking at in the beginning?
Oh, I appreciate you asking. So I knew I wanted to do luxury home improvement.
Okay.
Sometimes I was open-minded to other ideas, but really, like in my gut, I knew I wanted to do luxury home
Oh,
improvement.
this is very specific.
Yeah.
Luxury home improvement. Why that?
I had such a good experience with the real estate investing.
Okay.
I just had such a good experience hiring people to renovate houses for me and manage houses for me, mow lawns for me. And my wife is a real estate agent, like I said. So for those two reasons, and because it's something tangible, it's something local in the community. This morning I was at a beautiful job site in a beautiful neighborhood in Delray, looking at this spectacular art that my company built.
Nice.
So for all those reasons, that's why I chose that industry.
Wow. Nice. That's awesome. That's a really good explanation. That's pretty. And so when you started looking from that moment, from the beginning, your buy box was very specific in terms of the type of business and in terms of location. You wanted it to be, did you live in Jupiter?
No, that's another. Yes, you're right about the buy box. It was very specific.
Yeah.
The idea dawned on me in 2024 to buy a business.
Okay.
And it just made sense and everything clicked, and I just knew I was going to do it. And I was in the Army for all of 2024, and I was able to take leave a couple of times, and my wife and I explored the whole state of Florida. We knew we wanted to live in Florida, so we drove it basically up and down and around. And we knew we wanted to be in Palm Beach County, and so that's where I am now. And we knew that we wanted to do luxury home improvement, like we said.
Okay. So you were in Oklahoma, right?
That's right.
Okay, so you're in Oklahoma, sitting in Oklahoma. You decide, okay, I'm going to buy a business. I got a year in the military, and then I need to find out where I'm going to live, and then I'm going to find the business that I'm going to buy. And then, did you know what size business you're going to buy?
Yeah. So I knew how much cash I had, and I knew I wanted to do something ambitious and big. So I wanted to buy as much of the business as I could. But I was realistic. I didn't have $500,000 to put down. I could have come up with anywhere from $200,000 to $400,000 to put down to contribute to the deal. So I set my buy boxes in between $2 and $4 million.
Okay,
Luxury home improvement in Palm Beach County.
that's it. I love this. Very
Mhm.
simple, straight to the point. And then, so when did you start looking at businesses?
Yeah. So I was a tire kicker I was the guy that went on Biz by Sell, got the NDA, and then tried to be proactive somehow just because I was so excited about it. So really when I started looking was in March of 2025.
Okay.
That was when I was actually, okay, this business is a candidate. So it was March of 2025. And then I saw this listed for sale.
Like right away?
I mean, like I said, I was on Biz by Sell all the time, but
Yeah.
yeah, I was serious in March, and because I knew I was getting out of the Army in May, so really in March I was looking, and I saw the listing, and it was, like I said, checked every single box. I had a call with the broker. He sent me the NDA. We had a Zoom call, and then I got off the Zoom call, and the next thing I did was book a flight from Oklahoma to Florida.
Nice.
And I want to fly out the next day. Yeah.
So you had a Zoom call with the broker or the seller, or just the broker?
Definitely the broker. I don't remember if I talked to this seller before coming down.
Okay.
I did talk to the seller before coming down.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
you just book a flight to meet the seller to see the place. And
Yes.
and then did the seller have a location? Or is
Yeah.
it okay.
Yes. So that was one thing I knew that I wanted is I wanted a lovely place to come to work every day.
Okay.
So I knew I didn't want to work from home, and I didn't want to work out of a warehouse, or not that there's anything against any of those things, but that's just
Yeah.
what I personally wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted a lovely place to go to work every day where I'm surrounded by lovely people. And
Nice.
so, yes, he did. We have a wonderful showroom right on Indian Town in Jupiter.
That's awesome. So, how big is the showroom?
3,000 square feet.
Nice. And then you do residential. Do you do any commercial, or it's purely
Yeah,
residential?
90% residential.
Okay.
So, we did a cafe down the road the other day, but 90% residential.
Is there also 90% kitchens?
Maybe 75% kitchen.
Okay.
We do bathrooms, we do closets, we do wall units.
Okay.
What I'm putting behind you, we could build that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome.
Mhm.
And that's fascinating. So what was the business listed at?
It was listed for 2.6 million,
Okay.
and that's 3.5 times. It was 3.5 times SDE.
Okay.
I think, what is that?
It was like 850 or 900.
I think
SDE?
it's 700, 2.6,
So, okay.
3.5.
Okay.
Quick. Yeah, it was 742.
Okay.
That was the that
SDE.
was the front page. Yeah.
Oh, and what was the revenue?
3.6 million.
3.6 million.
Yes.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
pretty good. So it's 20%.
Yeah. Yeah. Revenues were very consistent. So that's something that attracted me a lot. Is every revenues were between 3.2 and 3.6 for 22, 23, and 24.
Okay. Nice. So there didn't have like a big jump in 21 and 22.
That's right. That's right. He was a little bit more creative with what he wrote off in 21 and 22, because
Okay.
he didn't have the idea of selling the business in his mind.
Yeah.
Nothing against.
Makes sense.
I don't think
Yeah.
anything. But yeah.
Okay. So it's got about 20% SDE, and you offered the full price?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me again about the meeting. So you met him in person, how did that go? What did you guys talk about? What did you do?
Oh, it went great. We clicked. There was just so much credibility to the business because of the lovely location. Like there's 8 beautiful kitchens in here, and we met in this office that I'm sitting now, which is now my office, which is crazy.
Nice.
And we got to talking, and I had a list of questions prepared, and I took notes on an iPad, and then we went out to lunch after, and I met with the broker and all that. And so it was an amazing meeting, and it was the first meeting that I took. I figured I'm here in Florida by myself. I might as well go on some other appointments. So I liked this business, and I liked the seller so much that I was tempted to cancel the other appointments. But I did it anyway, just because I didn't have anything else to do. My flight wasn't for a couple of days. So I went on the other appointments anyway. And the other appointments sort of affirmed the Strapper's decision.
Nice.
I was like, I don't stand a chance of making a deal on these other 3 businesses. So I'm so glad I went on those appointments, because it sort of affirmed my instincts, which was buy Strappers, negotiate later, just put it under contract.
Nice. So you said you didn't get a chance. You mean there was a lot of competition on those other businesses?
No, like the businesses weren't sellable.
Got it.
The books were a mess. The tax returns were a mess. Stuff like that. There was no chance that the deals were going to happen.
Okay, got it. Makes sense. So essentially, the other appointments confirmed that that's the business you want to buy, and that's the business that you can close.
Right.
And then so you were there for a couple of days. You went back home, and then you wrote an offer.
I didn't even make it back home before I wrote the full offer. Yeah, I sat in this crappy hotel lobby on the desktop, just like writing an LOI.
Nice.
I'll remember that for the rest of my life. So yeah, I just wrote like, here's my first full price. And
so what are the terms of the offer?
So my original offer, which is a lot different than what it was at the finish line, was full price 2.6 million. And then I had the idea, I don't know where I got the idea from, to have $240,000 withheld from the seller at closing and paid to him $20,000 a month for a year to
Okay.
keep him there full time and invested with me. So he didn't take off afterwards. He was a wonderful person. He is a wonderful person. Like he's right out there. We have an amazing relationship. But it's still nice to have something contractually binding him to you.
Okay. And then so did he accept that?
Yeah, he accepted it, and
So there's no seller financing.
not in the original offer, no.
Okay, so you put 10% down, and then the rest was finance SBA, and then plus that 10%, pretty much it's a 10% withheld and paid on the monthly.
Yes, that was my offer.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing. I knew that the deal would change to whatever the bank said.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, because it will mess up your DSCR, that
right.
$20K a month.
Yeah. And everyone knew I wasn't being dishonest.
Okay.
Everybody knew that.
Okay.
The bank was sort of going to have to approve this.
Okay.
Right? So I sort of had that in the back of my mind the whole time, that this deal is only going to improve for me from here.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
And again, I wasn't being dishonest, right?
Sure.
In the letter, it's, look, the bank has to approve all of this.
Yes.
Right.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's how.
And then, so now you went into contract. He accepted that offer. He didn't negotiate that offer. He just accepted it as is.
Yeah, I mean, it was full price. So it was exactly what he asked for.
Nice.
And,
Okay.
I think that I'm the type of buyer that he probably had in mind, right?
That's awesome.
Like
So he liked you. He liked your,
right.
He liked your story. He liked your personality, and that's huge. That's super important.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to spend 40 hours a week working intimately and trusting each other for a long time. So it needs to be a good fit.
So he's staying with the business?
Yeah.
For how long?
Closed in August, and he intends to stay indefinitely. So
nice.
Definitely through all of next year. He's 63, and his wife is older than him, which is what inclined him to sell the business.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's still got maybe 10 working years left at least.
Okay.
He's fit.
And what does he like to do in the business?
He loves cabinetry. He loves to design and sell. So we're different that way. I'm more of an owner. He's more of an owner operator.
Yeah.
So we're still refining our arrangement for next year.
Okay.
In terms of what our roles and responsibilities are. But the short answer is he loves to design and sell. And I love to manage. I don't want to serve clients. I don't want to, place really detailed cabinetry orders and draw kitchens. He loves that stuff.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's what you need. You need designers that sell. So usually in that space, that's, designers are technically the salespeople.
Totally.
Yeah. And okay, so it makes sense. So he's kind of like, and how many salespeople do you have?
When I bought the business, it was the seller and 2 designers.
Okay.
Now it's the seller and 4 designers. So I'm thrilled about that.
Nice.
I think I can double revenues.
Yeah. So they were seller, you said, and 2 designers before.
Yeah.
And how many staff, that like the total staff?
So then we have a 3,000 square foot shop. When I took over the business, there was 1 full-time shop manager, long-term. Yeah. And then since I've joined, we hired a second guy in the shop, a shop deputy.
Okay.
So those 2 are on payroll. And then we have 5 full-time, not full-time, we have 5 installers that are independent.
Makes sense.
But it's very typical for them to work for us.
And then the installers, they work in 1-person team or 2-people team?
It's sort of up to them. Sometimes it's an installer and a helper. Sometimes it's an installer.
Got it.
They're independent, but it's pretty typical for them to work 40 hours a week for a few weeks in a row for us.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So essentially, and the shop floor guys, what do they do? Or like, where are they watching?
Yeah. So our shop, we don't manufacture.
Yeah.
We customize.
Assemble?
No, not assemble. we customize is the best thing to say that our shop is for. So like I said, we could build what's behind you. We could
Yeah.
build a wall unit. If a box comes in damaged, we could go make it. If a panel comes in damaged, we can make that. Stuff like that. It's sort of it's sort of a supplement to what we order from manufacturers.
So you have the cabinets already made
Yeah.
and in as inventory.
Yeah. So we're a dealer, not as inventory. So
Oh,
yeah.
so you're just holding, so the inventory is not yours, it's the manufacturer's inventory.
So we place orders
Yeah.
to manufacturers based on what you, Jay, want in your kitchen.
Okay.
And our competitive advantage is that we can go to a dozen different manufacturers based on your needs.
Makes sense.
So if we did everything based in our shop, we'd be constrained and limited
Yes.
based on what our shop can do.
Yes.
So that's pretty typical in luxury space.
That makes sense. So when the customization is what, like the handles and
Yeah, it goes deep. Colors, door styles. There's 1,000 different ways to configure a door. Hardware, like you said, the dimensions of the cabinet vary greatly. Some people can't make a 6-foot cabinet. Some people can. We can make a 12-foot cabinet. The depth of cabinetry is very important as well. The material, obviously, whether it's melamine or plywood or hardwood, the grain of the wood, etc. So it's very detailed and very intricate.
Interesting.
Yeah, it goes deep. It's like anything where you can scratch the surface and then look under the hood and be like, wow, there's a lot here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So essentially, if you want to understand the business, the drivers of the business are going to be the designer, salesperson. And if before you were doing, you said 3.4 million revenue before.
Yeah, let's just call it 3.6.
3.6. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you were doing 3.6 revenue with 3 salespeople, that means each salesperson is like 1.2 million.
Yeah.
And so essentially every salesperson you hire is 1.2 million in revenue generator, and then and that's a 20% margin on that.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, you nailed it. So
Makes sense.
1.2 million, 5 salespeople.
So technically, this is like a sales operation. It's really not a cabinetry. So are you generating leads online, or this is just word of mouth?
I'm so glad you asked. We do nothing to procure business, Jay.
Wow.
Yeah, nothing. It's an amazing storefront, and we've been around since 1982, and people keep referring.
Yeah.
And we're so elementary, and it's just, yeah, like we don't have nearly enough to procure business.
So the 2 extra salespeople you added, there was enough leads for them to be able to go on appointments and close?
That's a great question. So yes, short answer, yes. The phone rings.
Okay.
People are Googling cabinets all the time, and we do good with SEO locally here. And that's our typical lead is somebody that Googles kitchen cabinets, goes to our website on their phone. And then our mobile website currently doesn't capture leads. It's driving me crazy. I'm trying to figure out a way to do it. I'm making a fool out of myself trying to figure out a new website host. But yeah, and then they see our nice website and then they call.
Yeah.
Just think about all the leads we're missing. People evenings and weekends calling.
Yeah.
We're not capturing them. It's unbelievable. But the phone still rings enough. And one of the things I've done since taking over is tell everybody we're going to go from spending 0% of our time procuring business to spending 5% of our time, 2 hours a week, procuring business. So I've signed all of my salespeople up for different like networking events, like BNI groups, kind of.
Okay.
Just to try to do something to procure business. But other than that,
do they need to?
No, I don't think so.
I would say I would probably, you don't have anyone in marketing, so you're probably marketing now, And so I would say the main thing would be to generate, like, capture the leads that you're missing right now. Maybe pay for the Google lead. There's a Google service where when people click, they can actually call you directly. And in order to do that, you may make sure that someone is actually picking up the phone right away, and then set an appointment right away. So that's probably going to be someone that you want to invest in, a virtual assistant, or somewhere, some other country. And then and I think that's going to be the main thing, is just lead generate and then have them go to as many appointments as possible. Do you do you have a CRM?
No, or yes, we do, but not anything that captures leads and makes sure we're following up with them. We do have a database that stores our contacts, but not anything for lead management.
Do you know what your conversion rate is? Like, every appointment, how many you close?
No.
Wow. Yeah, you're gonna have fun. This is exciting.
You're so right. Yeah, it's like, I've only been here 3 months. I'm still but
no, it's exciting. It's a lot of fun. Well, this is what you're looking for when you're buying a business. This is exactly what you're looking for. So you're in the right place, and it's fun. So
that's all I'm focused on next year. Is learning how to market and sell, how to bring in customers. That's all I want to do next year.
Yeah. So I think, like, the first 90 days, I would just focus on capturing the traffic you already have, the calls, the impressions, and then almost like you're going bottom up. You're going, you're starting first with, okay, let's find out of all the appointments that our salespeople go to, how many they close and how many they don't, and then see if that's healthy. Obviously, the company's been there for a long time. They're well known. There should be like over 50-60% of the leads convert. What else can we do to improve that by 10%? And then, so that's probably training, education, presentation, the way we, kind of like go through the presentation process, go through the language the salespeople use, go through that process with them. So that helps convert, more of the business you already have.
And, hopefully get at least one lead per month. Nobody fills out the contact forms on our website.
Yeah. And then also, like, the follow-up, like, let's say, your sales guys go on the call, they don't get the lead. Is there anyone, they don't get the business, is there anyone else that's following up on that presentation? You know what I mean? To make sure that maybe it's something changed. Maybe the people, got sticker shock, and maybe they want, you do any financing?
No, we don't do financing.
That's another way to kind of generate more, because sometimes these things can be costly. So if you can find some couple of ways to finance, that's the best way that the windows and doors guys do it. And the larger operations, essentially, instead of selling the large $20,000-$30,000 quote, they sell a payment.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah. That's exciting. That's a lot of fun.
I'm so excited.
So are you so the business is driven by sales, and you already have the phone ringing. You just need to capture more and do some more marketing. And then as you went through, you went into contract, and you went through due diligence. Anything popped in due diligence?
Definitely the fact that they do nothing to procure business really raised my eyebrows.
Okay.
I'm thrilled to see that. I could not believe it. And then the biggest story from the time, it took 5 months to close. It was it was a brutal 5 months.
Why?
It was brutal because my whole life was in the balance. I was unemployed. I was in Oklahoma and just waiting for the deal to close. Unemployed in the best way, but I had all this energy and enthusiasm, and I just was helpless waiting for the deal to close for 5 months. And stuck in Oklahoma, not being able to spend any money, as opposed to living the dream here in Florida.
What was the delay?
So the delay was the bank.
Okay.
So we worked very intimately with 2 banks. The first one turned out not to work out because he proposed something that the seller was not comfortable with. And the second deal worked out. but it took a long time to derive a conclusion and an agreement that myself, the bank, and the seller were all okay with.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what the term that the first lender says that the seller didn't like?
I don't recall. I think it was definitely bringing the price down and, not having all the money paid up front. So some form of financing or something. Well, you know what it was? It was an earnout. It was like, I owe Keith half of every dollar I make over $500,000 until I paid him back in full.
Is this an SBA?
Yeah.
SBA? Usually SBA doesn't like earnouts.
Okay.
Maybe some type of forgivable note.
Yes.
And based
It's
on
forgivable. Yes.
okay, got it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Eh,
So he beat the crap out of the seller, and it was because the seller wrote stuff off.
got it. Makes sense. Makes sense. And then the second one, did you end up having to put a seller financing at the end?
Yeah, we did. We did.
Okay.
And I'll probably leave it there just because he
Okay.
and I are so close and
sense.
still working
Makes
at
sense.
working well.
Nice.
So
Okay. Makes sense. Okay. That's it's typical. It makes sense to make the deal happen and close. So
yeah,
5 months in, so you started this process, you said in March, April?
that's right. March.
Okay. And then you just closed in, you said August?
That's right.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you closed, you just moved your family and you moved here?
Yeah, I moved the week before. And,
Okay. That's funny.
it was my wife and I, and we packed up everything we own and drove in a U-Haul. And then the bank was beating the crap out of both of us. So they were like, "You need to rent something for $1,000 a month."
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I'm like, "Lady, I can either rent something for 4,000 a month or sleep in the parking lot. I can't rent something for
There's nothing
$1,000 a
for
month."
1,000 in Jupiter.
Yeah. So we stayed in like this. We packed everything we owned, threw it all in a storage unit, and then moved into this like pretty crappy Airbnb, like
For $1,000 a month.
somewhere.
There's no such thing. That's
Right.
funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. And so and then you closed. So the office is in Jupiter, and then you're living in Jupiter too?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm living the dream, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a great area.
It's like the showroom's right here, my house is right here, the shop's right here.
Ah, sweet.
Like 5 minutes away. I got a pool. We bought a house right after we bought the business.
Nice.
There's a pool. Dude, I'm on a win streak.
Nice. That's awesome. That's awesome. And so day one, you announced it to the employees. How did that go?
It went well. I gave the usual spiel. I have tremendous respect for all that you do. I don't intend to change anything. Keith's not going anywhere. Business as usual. Pretend like I'm not here. I'm excited to learn, contribute, and help.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Humility goes a long way in that context for sure.
Nice. And so far, it's been 3 months. How's the team? How are things progressing with people?
It couldn't be going better. It could not be going better. And it really is just because of the quality of the people that are here. And, humbly, I've done a good job of staying humble and not being arrogant and not ever condescending anybody. I've never raised my voice or anything of that nature. And I've only had the best intentions. And the revenue is still coming in. And
Nice.
It doesn't feel real. And they're still out selling, and they're all happy to be here. And we all have great relationships. And I play tennis with one of my designer's husbands, and we all went out. I took everybody out to dinner the other night. But
nice.
It could not be going better.
Did you do a stock sale or
an
asset sale? You did an asset purchase. Okay. Was there any issues with that transition?
No, nothing. No administrative problems at all.
Okay. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And now are you essentially just focused on adding more? You said you added the 2 salespeople.
Yeah. So now we have the seller, who's the most prolific salesperson, and then we have 4 designers as well.
Okay.
So we're at 5 now. And,
okay.
I'm hyper focused on feeding them. That's it.
Got it.
Yeah.
And the decision to hire 2 more, was that yours, or was it seller also wanted to do that?
Yeah, we agreed on it. And it seemed obvious there were empty desks. The reason that they were empty beforehand is because the seller is more of an owner operator.
Okay.
Like he would much rather sell another kitchen than interview people. Right.
Okay. Makes sense.
So yeah, we agreed on it, and it's been great. And one of them's already closed deals and finished projects.
And are they from the industry? They come from the
Yeah.
space?
Yeah. They're all, yeah. So they all have a lot of experience, and
Okay.
in kitchen and bath and in cabinetry specifically.
And so in this space, when you hire salespeople, is it all commission, or is it like a small base plus commission? How does that structure?
Yeah, it is commission.
Okay.
It is commission. So the idea is you can do $1 million in sales.
Okay.
You make a 40% margin at least. So that's 100 grand. Or excuse me, 40% margin, that's 400 grand.
Yeah.
Then they get paid a quarter of gross profit. So if they do 400 grand in gross profit, they make $100,000.
Okay.
That's what we tell them is a very reasonable expectation for a full
Okay.
time.
Or just 10% of gross, but they have to have 40% gross margin.
Yeah, that's one way to think of it.
Yeah.
We do pay based on gross profit just to keep
Gross
all
profit.
incentives aligned.
Incentives on the gross. Okay, makes sense. So 25% of gross profit.
Right.
Makes sense. And that's so they're 1099 and they don't get any base.
Yes. I pay one of them like $1,500 a month to do our Instagram. She does an
Okay.
amazing job.
Nice.
And she wants to buy a house. She's the younger one. So I'm paying her on payroll just because
Okay.
it looks better for a mortgage person.
Okay.
And then one of the designers said that she couldn't afford to go on straight commission. So I agreed to pay her $5 grand a month for a little bit just to get her feet underneath her. And it's better for the house too, because I don't have to split.
Makes sense. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, and I mean that's pretty much it. It's going to be all about recruiting salespeople. That's just going to be the business.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
because you don't really, I mean, you don't own any inventory. Your cash cycle, you're getting paid quickly. You're getting paid get paid 50% up front, or how much is the?
Yeah, you're so right. That's something so favorable about this business is we get paid 50% up front, just like you said. Then we order the cabinetry.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So
it's tremendous for cash flow.
Yeah.
And then the cabinetry arrives to a warehouse, third party, and then we bill another 45%.
Okay.
Yeah.
When it arrives to your warehouse.
Yeah.
Before you install.
Right. Before it arrives to the client's house, we bill another 45%.
Okay.
So then we're paying for the install with the client's money as well.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So you got a good cycle.
right. And then, so this business, very low operating leverage.
Yeah.
Meaning I don't have to pay for labor and materials unless I have revenue. Right.
Yes.
So it's very compelling for that reason.
Yeah. And I mean, so your only employees are the 2 people that are in the warehouse.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
then rents.
And then the rents. And the rents.
Right.
Is the building owned by the owner?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
And does he have a long lease?
Yeah. So I had to negotiate contingent leases while we were under contract with the landlord, with both landlords for the shop and for the showroom. So 10 years, I got 10 years on the showroom and I got 6 years on the shop.
Nice. Same rate?
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
Same rates. And then, 5% increase of the year or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mhm.
That's awesome. And so that's really cool. So so what do you see like moving forward? So like marketing, that's the goal, feeding more. What else are you, what other initiatives are you planning on implementing?
Yeah, I appreciate you asking. There's so many ways to grow the business. And right now I'm working actually with a coach, Alan Underwood, to try to plan next year? Like, what am I going to focus on next year? Because there's a dozen different things I could do to grow the business. And if I just react and do whatever feels right, it's not going to grow. I need to pick one thing and stick to it and be intentional and deliberate for 12 months. So I think it's going to be more of the same, plus very concerted marketing efforts. So it's really going to be doing the same, except more of it. You know, I thought about acquiring a company that manufactures and goes down market. You know, I've thought about bringing in financing. I've thought about, you know, there's like I said, a dozen different things to do, but I think it's just going to be more of the same, plus a really concerted marketing effort for next year.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I mean, hiring more salespeople, capturing more leads, you know, essentially just tightening up your funnel, you know, go from bottom up, from the training of the salespeople to the retention, to the presentation, to the, you know, emails and so forth, you know, to capturing more leads of the traffic that you already have.
Absolutely.
You know, picking up the phone, following up, just the basic blocking and tackling of sales and marketing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I need to do for 2026.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to be focusing on removing myself from sort of the day-to-day requirements. You know, right now I'm paying every bill. Right now I'm doing all the accounting. Right now I'm doing all the invoicing, which is good when you buy a business because you learn, you know, and you see every dollar that comes in and out. But I do need to distance myself from the day-to-day and delegate things like that. So I haven't exactly made a plan for that yet, but that's another thing for next year.
Yeah, as a bookkeeper, that's easy.
Is it?
Yeah, that's easy. It could be a remote, you know, and you can take care of that, you know, very quickly. It's not, yeah. I think your focus is going to be just, you know, probably 30% marketing, 40% marketing, 60% recruiting salespeople. Recruiting designers. That's it. You know, so 40% marketing, and then the 40% of marketing, a lot of it is just finding people that can help you with, you know, building that funnel, closing the funnel, and then 60% of your time is just going to be responding, you know, running ads for recruiting designers, and then just interviewing people. Like literally every day you're interviewing 2 people.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah, that's it. That's, you know, if you have the ability to, you know, your space, your industry is familiar with a 100% commission structure. So essentially your goal is to capture every person in your marketplace that does that, you know, and you go far, you know, you go all the way down to Delaware, you mentioned, probably go down to Boca. And so, yeah, there are a lot of people. I mean, they're like, you know, millions of people. So there are a lot of people that can, you know, that would love to make 120, 140%, $50,000 selling cabinetry to luxury homes.
Yeah, it is a lovely thing to do for a living. I agree with that. I'm surprised to hear you say that. I didn't intend, you know, I'm fully staffed in the sense that every desk is full, but I could build more desks.
Yeah, you don't need desks. You know, I mean, people can take calls anywhere. You know, I mean, you just need a CRM and you need to send them leads. You know, when someone wakes up in the morning and they go and they're like, oh, I have 5 appointments to go to today. They don't need to show up in your office. They just need to go to their appointments. All your salespeople are all designers. You know, they do their work at the home of the homeowner. So if you think about it, how many appointments can they take a day?
Okay, probably 3, 4.
Probably 4. Yeah, probably 4. So I need to create 4 appointments for each of my designers a day.
Wow.
And that they don't need to come here. They can go straight. You don't need desks. They need to go straight to go from appointment to appointment. Everything can be done on the tablet. Everything can be updated. As soon as they sign a contract, there's an email that goes out to your warehouse. They know what to order. They know what to do. And then they go to the next appointment. Wow. And then at the end of the day, maybe a sales manager can call or you can call and follow up and just say, hey, how did this appointment go? What was the objection? How did this appointment go? That's where that's where that tweaking and tightening of the training, the education, the conversion, maybe adding, financing is probably important. I'm sure there's a percentage of people that would love to have some kind of financing.
You're so right.
Yeah, so that improves conversion. If you add 10% of your clients, if you go from closing, I don't know what your conversion is. Let's say you're converting 50%, and if you add another 10%, 60%, that's a lot of business. That's 20% extra. That's like another 20% revenue bump.
You're so right.
Just by that extra 10% that may be impacted by financing.
That's amazing. You're so right. Wow, that's so exciting. Yeah. Right now, they're probably doing 4 appointments a week. Yeah.
Each designer?
Mm.
Oh, you gotta up that up. Yeah. So
They spend a lot of their time doing project management.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're not pure salespeople.
Okay.
In the sense, but like I said before,
so you can split that. Yeah. So you can probably have, like so if you think about like your designers, there's some that have like very high conversion and some that have lower conversion, and probably the lower conversion people are more into the project management. And so I would just, make one person on the project management side, and then the other people on the, or hire a project manager straight, and then let everybody else go out and just be sales.
That's interesting. I've thought about that a lot. The problem is that I would have to reduce their commission in my mind. Like I'm paying you to project manage. If you want to make 25% of this kitchen, project manage it. If you
you can do that, and they'll probably be okay with it if they don't have to project manage. And then let's say 10% of their commission, or there's a percentage of their commission that goes to the management piece, then yes, then because it frees them up to do more business.
Yeah. So I've thought about that.
Yeah.
I have. So it's something that's on my radar. If I can get them to the point where they're out procuring business, then at that point they can decide, okay, I don't want to project manage anymore.
Yeah.
Let me give 10 points to the project manager, and so I can just design and sell. So that's something to think about for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, or you can, what you can do, you can find one of them. You can test that out with one. That's the one that hates the project management piece and loves to close. And usually that person is a closer. Usually closers don't like, so I tell you, like salespeople, closers don't like to project manage. So they're by nature. If you tell them, if you give them that program, if you give them that, option, they'll say, "Oh, just give me more leads."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the key for you is just to maximize your leads.
I agree with that. That's definitely the next step. And then we can tweak the model there once we have the leads. I agree.
Yeah. And then you just take one person that's, that's a closer, a high conversion, and then just give them more leads. And then, someone else just does the project management. And the project management, yes, you could be in the US, but later on probably can be overseas as well.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So that, that also doesn't have to be right there and then. Because it's just a lot of it is just ordering, follow up, making sure that the process is happening. It doesn't have to be like right there and then.
Yeah.
And so you can have one project manager servicing 2 salespeople or more. And
it's remote.
Yeah. Remote. Yeah. And you might be able to pay for it just because you have these salespeople doing more sales. Now you have a lot more efficiency, a lot more velocity, and be okay with it if it's if it's done remotely. Yeah, it's fun, man. It's exciting. You got a lot of opportunities there. I'm so happy for you. I'm gonna have to come visit. You're not too far from me. Visit the shop and check it out. So I know you and I kind of share the same thing. I always tell the people, our group, our members, is that to focus on the sales, focus on the seller. The seller is the most important thing. If you're buying from a really high quality seller, nothing else matters. Everything can be figured out. All the terms, the deal, all that stuff. So you're technically if you have a good seller, you have a good business. If you have a good seller, you have a good team. You have a good seller, you have good clients. You have a good seller, you have good reputation. You have a good seller, you have a good funnel. So tell us a little bit about that. We'll close on that note, because I know you have a good experience with that.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a wonderful person. You know, you can just tell. A huge believer in the golden rule. And throughout the whole process, I never once thought that he was being dishonest or even ever hinted at being dishonest. You know, if there was anything that I discovered during due diligence, is that the business is actually more profitable than was represented to me. You know, just nothing but ethical, honest, the best intentions. And like I said, he looks like $1 million. He looks like a picture of health, tons of energy, etc. So, yeah. What else would you like to know about him?
No. That's it. I mean, those are kind of like when you met the seller, you knew that first day, and kind of only got confirmed as you're dealing with them through the transaction. So, and that's kind of like what I'm referring to, is the fact that, you have a great seller, you have a great team, and you have a great client base, and so everything works out from there. Awesome. Well, James, I appreciate you joining the call. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you so much. It's surreal. I've been a listener of podcasts for a decade, and it's probably the first time I've ever been on one.
I appreciate
craziness.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.